Hello, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. Step into my worlds with me, and I will show you what I see. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. I'm going to talk about the point of grounding this morning. The point of grounding is that moment where we stabilize exactly where we are and what our position is, so we know where we are and who we are. A lot of people don't know how to do this, which is the problem. There's a lot of problems. So the point of grounding works like this. I want you to imagine for a minute that we live on a grid. Really wrap your head around the idea that there's a grid. This grid is called the electromagnetic field. Guess what? It's real. If a bunch of scientists over at CERN are poking at it and playing with it, it's real. But I don't want to get into what is real because that's philosophy. So you are all over this massive grid. Now, mathematics and science are 100% always about precision. Always about precision. That's how it works. Everything must be mathematically precise, which is why the karma bank exists, because it's constant checks, balances of positive and negative energy that has to remain balanced. The universe is obsessed with balance, alignment, and precision. These are her favorite things in the world. She loves balance, alignment, and precision so much that our entire function revolves around it. And the more we dig into science, the more this confirms that, yes, precision, balance, alignment, accuracy matter. I'm going to add accuracy to the list of priorities that the universe has. Now, I like to use this example because it really drives my point home. Let's pretend for a minute that we're all gods. Let's pretend. And let's pretend that this God has the power to create just by wanting, wishing, speaking, imagining, and dreaming. That is a hell of a powerful God. Now, what would happen if that God forgot that they were a God, but they could still want, wish, speak, imagine, and dream? What would happen to that God if, after the God forgot, they believed that they were just a man who was mortal with a life expectancy of 60, maybe 85 now, who wasn't special, was horrible, was a loser? And the man, the God who had forgotten and believed he was a man, believed this. But really, it's a God with the power to manifest and create whatever it wanted. So suddenly, this God who has forgotten that he's a God and believes he is now a man wants, wishes, speaks, imagines, and dreams that he is a middle-aged man who is going to die shortly. His stress is too high and he's miserable and he can't stand his life. Well, that is exactly what's going to happen. And then he says, God, I'm such a loser. I hate my life. I can't do anything right. As you wish. I'm never going to amount to anything. I'm such a failure. As you wish. I hate myself. I can't stand being around myself. As you wish. How many negatives do we say every single day? How many positives do we say every single day? That reaffirm the manifestation and the creation that we put before our eyes. In comparison to how many imaginations do we have? How many wishes do we make? How many dreams do we put together? What's the balance? If you have the primary emotional negative environment, or a primarily negative, if you have a primarily negative emotional mental environment, then you are going to manifest, create, imagine a negative life. And when you flip that around, when it's fully positive, your life changes. This is the basic concept of mindset. Now, mindset is imagination. It's just pure imagination. And imagination was taken away from us. The system takes it away. Societal expectations take it away. People take it away. Narcissists take it away when they say things like, that's just your imagination. It's just my imagination. The problem I believe we have is that we grossly underestimate and undervalue our imagination and the importance of our imagination. Our imagination is our perspective. Our imagination is our reality. Our imagination is everything. Now, when you are being bombarded by all the negativity and the reality that you're actually living in, that you created when you said all the things you said about yourself, that you just repeated from other people. By the way, this is why repetition and parroting is dangerous. This is why it is so important that you think. Because if you don't think, you hear what people say to you about you, and you just repeat it. Thinking literally cures abuse. Because you stop listening, you start recognizing, and you stop parroting, and you start thinking. You go from being a mimic to an author, a player to the playwright. And when you do that, you reclaim your God power. Now, you already have your God power. You're already saying whatever it is comes to your mind. You're already manifesting it left and right. The only difference is you don't remember, you don't believe, you think you have no control, so you continue to do what you've done your whole life. Mindset is everything. When we ground ourselves, the point of grounding is a period of solid, unmoving isolation. That moment of isolation puts us in a place where we can stop where we are, take a knee, and remember who we are. It is the moment when we reconnect with our imagination, because our imagination is absolutely fragile if you're not boundaried up to protect it. So that imagination is getting bombarded with doubt, with naysayers, with realists who want to check in with you to tell you what is real or isn't real with your imagination. And suddenly you are shaping your reality around their expectations because they made you think that what you imagined isn't real. I want world peace. I believe in it solidly. I have a plan. I know exactly how it's going to happen. And yet, I have a million people telling me every day, okay, let's be more realistic. I have 2 people every day who pretty much tell me that it's a pipe dream. Where would I be if I believed them? Where would I be if I believed them? Thing is, I can't believe them. I can't. I cannot. Because the minute I believe them and their definition of what should or shouldn't be real, I'm going, I don't want to live here. I don't want to be here. I don't like anything about the way the world is right now. So if I'm not working to change it, I have no purpose. That is my purpose. To either be in the environment I want to be in or working toward getting us to that environment so I can be happy, because the world fucking sucks. And it has no place for me. So if I want there to be a place for me, it has to go a certain way. The thing is, there's a lot of people who feel that way. A lot of people who think that way. A lot of people who are on the edge of suicide because they're going, this world is not for me. Van Gogh is one of them. No, the world is not made for people like us. And why shouldn't we have our own space? The space we are looking for is not physical. It's just a mindset. It's just an imagination. We just want our imaginations. And if an imagination is a mindset, if it's a perspective, if it's a dimension, if it's just a mindset, then what entitles anyone to tell me what my mindset should be? Furthermore, if a toxic government can take their mindset and infuse it into everybody else, then why can't I take mine and infuse mine into everybody else's? The difference is I would make it transparent. I would give them a choice, and I wouldn't threaten them. I would not enslave them in my mindset. The difference is it wouldn't be a monopoly anymore, because that's really what this is. We have monopolized imagination. I do not need to get into the politics as to why a monopoly is bad. My agenda and my goal is to teach people how to restore their own mindset and imagination for themselves. It is not to give you my mindset. My mindset is we all have our own mindset, living, coexisting with celebration in the same society, so that you have your reality and your imaginative world and I have mine. But there's one rule. You got to think. You can't parrot. You can't parrot. If you're parroting, you've missed the point. So if you come in with your own religion that's already been recycled over and over and over, and you're just re-quoting someone else's work, but you haven't made it your own, it won't work. And here's the thing. You don't have to leave the society you're in. If you love it so much, you're more than welcome to stay there. But there are people who do think. There are people who aren't okay with parroting. There are people who need something different, who want to connect with people, thinking people, not with parrots. And they don't have a home right now. They don't have a place. We are very few and far between. I had a date last night, and I love the conversation we ended up in. It was about loneliness and why I do what I do. And I said, every subconscious mind is identical. Every fear is identical. I said, let me show you the world of a therapist. You have 50 people who come into your office. You have a conversation with 50 people. Now there's two modes. There's color, there's imagination, there's uniqueness. There's fresh waves of beauty that comes off of each person, literally like a snowflake, painted rainbow. And then they all have another mode called the subconscious mind. And they all walk around like Borg or Cybermen, quoting the same script verbatim. Every time fear kicks in, the scripted subconscious mind enters, and I start to listen to every political subliminal message we've been spoon-fed. Identical. Not a single drop of uniqueness in it. And then when they're having a great day, that shuts off and the rainbow snowflake comes back. Now, when you interact with that many people on a daily basis and you start to see the world like that, I can tell every single time when someone's being real or fake. Because when you're fake, you start to sound like everybody else. You're all the same. The only time you're real, the only time you're unique is when you're honest and when you're authentically yourself. And the minute you're afraid, the minute you wear a mask, the minute you tell a lie, you sound like everybody else. I did that last night. I stood in the middle of Manhattan, Midtown, and I screamed out, "You're all the same!" Literally, it felt really good. It was very refreshing. It's like, yeah, they're identical. I said, every one of them is the same. And he was like, every one. I said, every one of us, even I. I said, it's how I figured it out, is I was spouting out the same rhetoric. And then I heard the same rhetoric coming from other people. And I'm like, you're saying the same words I said. Well, now I know you're bullshitting, because those are the words I say when I'm bullshitting myself. That was the first time I started to pick it out. So listen to yourself when you're bullshitting. And then notice other people using the same words you use when they bullshit. They're the same words. Only thing is, you know when you're bullshitting because you can feel it. So when you bullshit yourself, feel for that. Listen to the words you're using. And then when other people use the same words when they're bullshitting, you'll know they're bullshitting. Suddenly you can tell when people are lying to you. It's amazing. So when you decide to ground yourself, the point of grounding is when you decide where you are going to be on that grid. It's a coordinate. Coordinates is not a single point. You require 2 positions, preferably 3, in order to know where you belong on any grid. The grid is who you are, who your point of relativity is, and your community. I think it's actually your imagination. Or the I of I is your imagination. I think it's the I of I. I say those words a lot, I of I and you of I. And I is basically a triangular identity. It is the 3 parts of your identity. It is who you are. This is the philosopher's compass. When you look at the philosopher's compass, you have 3 points. Who you are, actually you have 4 points. There's 1, 2, and then 3. And then you have a point in the dead center. So the philosopher's compass is made up of who you are, who your point of relativity is, or what your point of relativity is. These are your ethics. These are your parents, your family, or your lover partner. And then there is your community, the they. And then in that dead center is your truth. Once you have all these 4 points figured out, you know exactly where you are. Now, your I of I, and by the way, this is all I. This philosopher's compass is the ultimate I. It's the big I. I. That's how you spell it, I. Not like I, it's I. So, the I of I is the imagination of you. That is your imagination. This is your perspective. Your perspective is made up of 5 parts. Your cognitive core, your identity, your ethics, your beliefs, your name, and your perspective. All of these things make up your imagination. That's right. This is the I of I. Once you have those defined, you know who you are. But like in about 4 different massive subjects, you need to have a point of relativity to determine where you are, kind of like the longitude of your latitude. And that is the point of relativity. That would be somebody whose ethics match yours verbatim. The closer you can get to matching their ethics, the better. This person would act like your mirror. In a lot of places, we call that your twin flame. I don't like to use that term for many reasons. This is the you of I. The point of relativity is the you of your I. The you of your I is the person who literally marks the X on your map. On the worst of your days, when you doubt yourself, you can always look to the you of I and remember, oh yeah, that's who I am, because it's a mirror. It is 100% a mirror, which is why it's so important that you have a you of I. If you have just the I of I, you're going to wander. You're not going to feel home. You're going to feel lost. It is your relationship to your you of I that defines where your home is. Because with your imagination combined with the point of relativity, your you of I, and that mirrored relationship you have, now you are home. So that's where you get the feeling of home from. Now, community is a tricky one. Community is basically your cheerleading squad. That's it. They are your cheerleading squad. They are responsible for cheering you on, celebrating you, making sure you are the best you, keeping you in check. They're kind of your moral compass. The check light, you need to go over here and do this. They celebrate with you. They reflect your ethics. They give you a sense of comfort and safety. Most specifically, they are your resource pool. They are 100% your resource pool. So that when you have resources that you need to pool together, that's what your cheerleading squad, your community is for. That's where you can dump all of your resources and say, okay, the community isn't a problem. Here's what I've got for resources, which is why we do potlucks with people like that, which is why we do bring your own whatever with people like that, is because we are pooling together our resources to break bread. Community. And then in the dead center of all of this is your truth. When you have these three combined, you are stable. Now you can ground. Now you are solid. This fuels a massive amount of confidence, reassurance, everything. Now, I believe my sessions are all about theoretical at first, where I explain the theory. And I explain how the theory can be applied to your life. The next part I like to explain as an example of how I use it for my life. This setup allows you to understand the why, and it understands how you can apply it for your life. And I like to use myself as an example because a lot of people need a leader, for example. That's actually a massive amount of learning. When you study philosophy at Alexandria, not only do you study the subjects, you also study how to learn, educate, and teach. You actually learn the psychology and the philosophy of learning, education, and teaching, which is how I figured out that there's mimic, parrot, and then authorship. In addition, there is understanding the why we do things, understanding how you can use it for you, and then providing you with an example so you can parrot and mimic until you can write your own story, because that's how we learn. So, for an example for me, I have me, which is my I of I. I know who I am. And then my partner is the you of I. So whenever I'm lost or indecisive, I go back to him. I look at him for an example because we lead by example. We learn by example. And I'm able to mirror him to go, oh, yes, these are my ethics. This is my grounding point. Now, the reason why we need to do this is because there is a lot of noise out there. And every time we hear noise, it pulls us away from ourselves. I believe it was 140,000 bits of data come into our cognitive core every day. That's a lot of information pulling us off. I found out that once a week, I have to ground myself, or I was ending up in a fight with my partner because I was constantly, too much data was pulling me off. Now, as you get confident and as you define your imagination in your eye of I, this stops happening. You get pulled off of course less and less because you solidify your eye of I. So once you have a solid eye of I, you stabilize, and then you have that beautiful point of reference with a U of I. Once you have that in place, then you have the ability to go back and mingle in the community. Now, in the community, that's when you get bombarded with all of those different opinions and perspectives, which is great. You need to take in new perspective, but you also need to do a perspective cleanse. So it's a combination of take in the new perspective, process and weigh in, and then go purge and cleanse. And that's where your partner comes in. That is where your home base comes in. When you do those purge and cleanses, you take in way too much data. Okay, I need to go remind myself who I am because I got lost in the noise. And that's it. We get lost in the noise. So when you ground yourself, what you are really dealing with, and this is true of anyone who struggles with depression, anyone who struggles with, I don't know who I am. The reason why you don't know who you are is because you've taken on too much noise and you have not solidified the eye of I. Your philosopher's compass is missing. It's broken. Now, it takes tools to build up your philosopher's compass. We're going to walk through all of the tools for you. If you want to kickstart your healing, I'm putting together a play because it's me and that's what I do. And the play is about 90 minutes. I'm still writing it, but it's fully interactive where it's story mode, it's entertaining, and it walks you through all of it. I'm writing it out on my blog. I have the outline all done. I'm literally halfway done with it. And it's literally 90 minutes of just, let's call it a perspective cleanse to give you a solid, stable point. Now, you don't have to believe it, and that's fine. What it does is it gives you understanding and it gives you a starting point. Once you have that in place, then we go back to the philosopher's compass and we start putting the philosopher's compass back together. Now, I'm going to be very blunt with you. If you are looking for a therapist and you're wanting something different, I do offer consultations. For me, they're not consultations. I don't do sessions. What I do is case studies. I'm a philosopher. So if you want to become one of my case studies, I am only taking on like 3 more people max, and it's $500 a week. This is for a case study, and this is a philosopher applying the meaning of life to you. I cannot emphasize enough. This isn't psychology. This is philosophical perspective. And just to give you some perspective, psychology is here and my shit is up here. It's really fucking effective. So $500 a week. This is for a case study, and I'm only taking on 3 more cases. And it is literally going to be backwards from everything you see in in psychology, because this is philosophy. And if you're curious what philosophy has to do with psychology, psychology is a branch of philosophy, except philosophy is a massive topic. Psychology is one little finger on the body of philosophy. I studied all of it, which is why I have the philosopher's compass. So if you are interested in becoming a case study, go ahead and reach out to me. My Linktree account is available down below. There's a contact on it, and let me know that you are interested in becoming a case study. Again, it's $500 a week. As far as time frame, I stay with you until it's done. No questions asked. But So far with the case studies I've been doing, fast results, fast. It's extraordinary to see how quickly my case studies are picking it up because I'm giving them the philosopher's compass. So if you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow, comment, share the video. If there's any kind of problems with the video, please let me know. I had somebody who actually commented that the video sound was wrong, was off, which was phenomenal. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I cannot tell you enough how happy that made me. I don't know that there is a problem if you do not tell me. So if you want something, if there's something up, let me know. I have a microphone picked out with an arm. I just don't have the funds yet. If you want to foot the bill and get it for me, the link is on my link tree below. And yeah, I have my wish list there, so you can go in and whatever, if that's something you want to do. So, and I'm looking for my own network. So anyone who wants to join Authenticity City, go ahead and take a look. That is my societal experiment where I am building up an alternative government. That's not really a government because I don't believe that you should be governing people. If that's something that interests you, take a look at the link below. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.